Abuse that led to his death during his time with his mother, Gabriel Fernandez, and her boyfriend, Isaro Aguirre. On May 22, 2013, in Palmdale, California, paramedics found Gabriel naked and not breathing, with a cracked skull, 3 broken ribs and BB pellets embedded in his lung and groin. 2 days later, Gabriel passed away at the hospital. All of these signs signaled that his death hadn't been an in-the-moment accident, but rather a premeditated act done with immense cruelty. From the beginning, it was clear that Pearl didn't want anything to do with her son, due to the fact that she gave Gabriel up 3 days after birth to her brother, Michael Lemos Carranza, and his partner, David Martinez. They were his primary carers from 2005 to 2009 when he was taken into the care of his grandparents, Robert and Sandra Fernandez. Gabriel was forcibly removed from his grandparents as Fernandez wanted her son back, reportedly so she could claim welfare from him. Although Gabriel's grandmother had made allegations that Pearl was an abuser and an unfit mother, they were all in vain. In October of 2012, Gabriel was forced to move in with his mother for the first time. During the 8 months that Gabriel spent with his mother and Isaro Aguirre, he was brutally tortured in unimaginable ways. He was beaten regularly, forced to eat soiled cat litter, and kept in a locked cupboard, gagged and tied, for hours a day without access to the bathroom. It's important to mention that various calls were made to officials by worried family members. In fact, law enforcement often, there were multiple house calls, took Pearl Fernandez's word that everything was fine, and never even asked to see Gabriel. And when they did, according to family members, they threatened Gabriel, and told him that if he kept lying about his bruises, that he'd be the one to go to jail. Additionally, his teacher had made repeated calls to social workers regarding bruises and other marks that could be seen on Gabriel's body. There were so many signs that just kept being ignored. After his death, investigators found that all of his clothes had been put in a plastic bag underneath the sink of the bathroom. Meanwhile, a couple of dresses had been found inside the closet of Gabriel's room. Throughout the investigation and with the testimony of Gabriel's brother and sister, it was uncovered that he was forced to dress as a girl and called gay by his mom and Isaro. This led officials to believe that his death was a case of homophobia. In the Netflix documentary, you can see how the investigator originally had red stickers to mark blood spatter around the apartment. However, there was so much blood that she soon ran out of the color and had to switch to yellow stickers. Gabriel Fernandez went through severe trauma and abuse. He had his teeth knocked out with a baseball bat by his mother's partner. Also, numerous cigarette burns were found all across his body. Furthermore, the series shows his siblings' testimonies in which they both explain how Isaro would hold Gabriel up by the neck against a wall and beat him until he was unconscious. His injuries were so extensive that the autopsy lasted 2 days, which is far longer than usual. As if this weren't enough, the report showed that his thymus gland, which is responsible for the early development of the immune system, was deteriorating and weighed 10 grams when then the normal weight is 100 grams according to the coroner. It was a result of the stress that Gabriel was undergoing. Even so, Gabriel still demonstrated and showed love to his mother. The series showed how just days before his murder, he had written his mother a Mother's Day card with all of the things he loved about her. In the end, Isaro was convicted of first-degree murder, under the special circumstance of intentional murder by the infliction of torture. As a result, he was sentenced to death. His death date is yet to be announced. Since Pearl pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, she avoided the trial process. Her defense team said that given her low IQ, capital punishment wasn't appropriate for her, therefore, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. On the other hand, the 4 social workers, Stephanie Rodriguez, Patricia Clement, Kevin Bom and Gregory Merritt, in charge of Gabriel's case received no punishment at the end of their trial.